Is the expression anchor babies offensive? Donald Trump said this about anchor babies.
Are you aware that the term anchor baby, that's an offensive term? People find that...
You mean it's not politically correct and yet everybody uses it? So you know what? Give me a different term. Give me a different term. What else would you like to say?
The American-born child with an undocumented immigrant.
Oh, you want me to say that? Okay. No, I'll use the word anchor baby. Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You gotta like the way he deals with some people. You just gotta like that, you know what I mean? Judge Andrew Napolitano is here. Okay.
You know what he is? He's politically seductive because he's such great theater. Whether you agree with him or not, how can you not watch that and smile over it? Even if you agree with the reporter, how can you not smile over it?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, he was talking about the 14th Amendment, which, as I understand it, was introduced way back to allow slaves proper entry and part of American society. Does the 14th Amendment stretch to the position where anybody born in America is an American citizen?
The more appropriate question, I suggest, would be, is the 14th Amendment limited to just former slaves? And the answer is no, because the language is very clear. The language is all persons born in the United States and subject to its jurisdiction or naturalized here shall be citizens of the United States. So let's just say the Congress, a Republican Congress and a President Trump issued a proclamation interpreting what that means. We interpret that to be meaningless today. It only applied to the slaves. What would the Supreme Court do with that? The Supreme Court would say, guess what, guys? We interpret the Constitution, not you. And we interpret the plain language as it's written. And without a limiting qualifier in there, this only pertains to former slaves, it pertains to everybody. And besides, every time we've looked at this, we've said it pertains to everybody.
Last time was, what, 1985, was it? The mid-1980s? And the Supreme Court said 9-0. You're a citizen.
Yes.
You're born here, you're a citizen.
Yes.
In other words, there's no going around this.
Correct.
No matter what Donald Trump says or anybody else says.
Can the 14th Amendment be changed? Yes. It's extremely cumbersome. It's not in the cards. It required 2/3 of a vote of each house and 3/4 of the state legislatures. But let me suggest that Donald Trump knows this. He's not going to say, by decree, I'm going to change the 14th Amendment. He wants to stir the pot. He wants to get his ideas out there. And like a businessman, he wants to ask for and demand more than he will eventually settle for.
Could you make the case that that amendment has nothing to do with people who park themselves on the border moments before birth, come across the border just to become a citizen for their child?
You could make
it is being abused, is it not?
You could make the political case, but you can't make the legal case because the law is clear. Look,
so no matter what politics does, legally, you can't do that. You can't abrogate that 14th Amendment. You just can't do that.
You can't abrogate the citizen of the baby because of the misdeeds of the mother. That would violate another part of the Constitution called the Due Process Clause by punishing A for the behavior of B.
Okay. I think it's unique in the world. I don't know of any other society.
I'm convinced that it's unique in the world. It's one of the things that makes us a great place in which to live. Is freedom.
I have grandchildren born in Australia. They're not automatic Australian citizens. Grandchildren born in New Zealand, not automatically New Zealand citizens. That's the way it is. And I think the same is true of England. If you're born there, it doesn't mean to say that you are an Englishman.
Well, you have to get the Queen's permission, don't you?
Of course. That's the way it ought to be.
She's not here in the studio. Where is she?
In her palace, actually.
Oh, one of many.
Do you know that in early September, she will have ruled, if she's still on the throne in early September, she will have ruled longer than any other English monarch. She will exceed the reign of Queen Victoria.
Wow.
And you will celebrate with me?
Will we see King Charles III?
Yeah, at some point, yes, but who knows when. All right, Judge, not too bad today.
Thank you
very much.
Pleasure.